So this is a very brief video on IBP Basics, specifically the Excel add-in. This is where you'll be probably interacting with IBP 80% of the time, if not more. As you can see, I'm in Excel right now, and there's this additional tab that's been installed, add-in that's been installed called IBP. First, I'm going to log on to the system, and I need to select a planning area. This is perhaps why it's best practice to try to get your planning areas as consolidated as possible. You don't want to have 50 of these things, so people have to constantly log on and log off. From there, once logged on, you're going to see a lot of additional icons being activated, and I'll just go through them quickly. New view is to make a new query. You can make that from a template or just to dump some data in an Excel spreadsheet. You can pull up a favorite, so this would have been something that was saved or someone shared with you. You can also just have, if you have an Excel spreadsheet or an IBP query that you like, you can actually just email as if a spreadsheet to someone, and then they could load it and keep it as their favorite. You can also edit this view, so if I want to change the time profile, maybe add in a different attribute, change a key figure, maybe switch around the layout or filter. I can also add alerts as well. This is where I would do all of that. I can also select up here different scenarios. So that's pretty basic. The other option is to actually save the data. So for example, here, if I was playing around with this number and I wanted to change the sales manager forecast, it highlights it in blue because this is denoting that it hasn't been saved yet, and I can just hit save, and it's going to send those changes up to the database for everyone else to pick up. If, for example, I have another colleague working next to me that just made some changes and you wanted to refresh the values to get the latest and greatest values, then you would do that by refreshing it here. Some other quick things on this Excel add-in: if I wanted to change the master data on something, so maybe the location source master data needs to be changed, I would just pull up and it would bring me up a different query. So for example, I could change the local transportation ratio or the lead time. So that's pretty simple. I could also create and manage scenarios. So if I have an upside downside scenario, if I want to create a new scenario, this is where I would do that. If I wanted to run the S&op calculation, so someone changed the consensus demand and now you want to see what impact it has on supply, this is where you would do it. It'll give you a list of the programs that you have security to run, and then you just can select it and go. There's some additional things around here about seeing the jobs, but we can cover that in other scenarios. And then finally, perhaps the only thing left for the add-in to understand is this concept of templates. So if you don't want your users to go off and make all sorts of different style templates, or you want to put some functionality in Excel's templates for everyone else to use, for example, in this case, it has a hidden chart that I wanted to add, and you want it to work a certain way, then you can do that as well. And then you can obviously save and share those templates. But again, that's probably a more advanced kind of concept for people. So that's about it for the Excel add-in. If you have any questions, please feel free to send us a note at SCM Connections.